All right. First and foremost, give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Hakapadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone who rule well and was worthy to be counted for double honors. Peace and salutations to you brothers out there pushing this truth wholeheartedly and sincerely and for love of the gospel. It's the brother Gabaria from the Indiana account. Coming back at you again with another sit down. And today I'm gonna touch base on this scripture right here, Luke the 14th chapter and the 26th verse. Without further ado, let's go and hop straight into it. It says, "And if any man come to me and hate not his father and mother and wife and children and brethren and sisters, yea, and his own life also, he cannot be my disciple." Right? So when you read this, if you're reading it for face value, you would think it would graft in your mind that, oh, well, see, I'm supposed to live as a hermit. I'm supposed to hate I'm supposed to hate my mother, my father, just hate my family. I said, I hate hate my life and just do, I just want to live as a hermit and I don't want to, take no joy and do all the. So reading it for face value, you actually would think that. But when you know the proper understanding of the scripture, it just means to love less. All right. Let's look up the word hate right quick. All right. So goes into the Strong's definition. It says by extension to love less. You see? So when it says hate your father, your mother, your child, your children, your brother, your wife, your sister, it doesn't mean that you actually hate them or you have a hatred for them. It just means that you love them less than you do the Lord. All right. And what's it really talking about is basically you don't put them over the work of the Lord. You don't put them over your duties and your responsibilities when it comes to this truth. All right. And even your own life. You see, we've had many, matter of fact, it should have been all, but we have every single one of us has given up our own desires, things that we want to pursue in life, things that we want it to be, you know, we have basically put that to the side for the Lord. All right. Whether you wanted to grow up and be in the medical field, or whether you wanted to be a teacher, or whether you want to be an actor or even a content creator, you know, you wanted to grow up and create your own video game, or you wanted to make a story, you wanted to write a book and publish a book, now I'm not saying that you can't do none of those things, you know, but you have to look within yourself and you have to ask yourself, is this going to interfere with my walk in the truth? Is this going to interfere with my work that I have to do for Yahweh Bashem Yahushua? And that's the inner struggle. I ain't gonna say struggle. That's the inner fight that we have. Every decision that we make, every move that we do, we always have to consider, is this going to be a hindrance or is it going to uplift the truth? Is it going to make my job even harder? If you have a job where you got to work from sun up to sundown and you barely have 4 to 5 hours of your day left to yourself, maybe that job isn't the suitable fit to be a man of the Lord and to work that job. You see, because what time are you going to give the Lord? Where are you going to go out and do, with the things that you need to do? Here he is. We were called to do a specific job. We have to upload videos. We have to congregate with brothers. We have to go on the highways and byways. You see, we have to put up our own video, our own personal videos. All right. We got to make sure we have enough time to studying, watching the videos, praying. See, all these things takes time and vitality. And this is what the Lord means when he says, yea, his own life also. Because you're not just forsaking the things that your children want, the things that your wife wants, or if your parents, if you're your parent, if you live with your parents, or if your parents live with you, and certain things that they want you to do, or they are certain things that they look for you to do, because you got some brothers who parents might put them in school to be something. You see, your parents might put you into school to be a doctor or be a lawyer, you know, or to actually do something with your life. But guess what? What if the Lord called you into the truth right after you graduated college? Now you hear you have a choice. Are you gonna please your parents who put you through school and they want you to become something of yourself? Or are you gonna please the Lord who called you to do his work? And this is a inner struggle that you have to seriously sit down and consider. Because once you start, if you choose the Lord and once you start running that race and once you start on that path of walk, there's no turning back. You see, there's no, oh, I don't want to do this no more. All right. And that's what the couple next scriptures talks about. If you gonna choose the Lord, if you gonna abide about what the Lord told you to do and follow His sayings, and there's no turning back from that. Just like in the movie Matrix, when Neo when it was exposing all that stuff to Neo, and what did Neo do? Neo vomited. He vomited. You see, he got overwhelmed. He was just told that the world he thought was a real world wasn't a real world. He seen fucking Morpheus hop over a fucking he seen Morpheus jump leap from one building to another, you know, and it was too much. And what did Neo say? He said, "No, I want out. Get me out. I don't want to be here." It was too much for him. And then eventually he vomited. And then what he passed out and he woke up. And what was the first thing he told Morpheus? He said, "There is no going back, is there?" And Morpheus said, "I'm afraid not. Once you're woken up, that's it." You know, I just that's one of the most spiritual movies I love Matrix, man. It's a very, very spiritual movie. And once you watch it with a spiritual eye, it's so many little intricate, things. Matter of fact, it basically paints out a picture of a brother just not waking up in the truth. It paints out a perfect picture. It almost hits every single feeling that you feel. You become overwhelmed, you become excited, you start learning certain things. Hey, what did he do? He learned kung fu. You start learning the breakdowns. You see, you get confidence. At first, what you lack confidence, and then what you gain confidence. You cut your first scoffer or whatever. But I can go on and on about Matrix, man. It's one of my favorite movies, bro. But anyways, um, yeah, once you enter into this truth, there isn't no going back. And if you call yourself going back, if you call yourself forsaking the Lord and trying to grasp whatever little life that you thought you had, it's not going to be what you think it's going to be. Matter of fact, it's gonna actually, as it says in the book of Peter, it's going to be worse. It's better for you to have just chose that way. It's better for you to have just chose the path that you wanted to walk versus to come into the Lord and then turn back. All right. Because the Lord calls it what? A dog returning to his own vomit again. You see, so what? The Lord considered your life without him as vomit. All right. Your life without Yahweh Bashan Yahushua is considered worthless. It's nothing. It's vomit. All right. And here you is, you're forsaking the way of the Lord just to return back to that. And here you is, you think you're gonna get somewhat, you're gonna, I'm gonna just reset my life over. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, you know. But now, as the scripture says it says, talking about what the demons that would have left you. It came back swept and garnished, but now it's going to come back with seven more demons, more powerful than itself. So now you're worse off than where you were when you first came into the truth. All right, you probably was a upstanding, decent individual. Didn't really do no wrong. Then you came into the truth. You stayed in the truth for however long, and then you left. Now you what? Now you addicted to drugs. Now you smoking. You know, now you a addict or what? Or now you a homo? You're a sodomite. I've seen men enter to this truth, be in it for a couple of years, and then as soon as they leave, now they're sodomites. Now they're loving on now they're loving on men. All right, or they turn to smoking cigarettes. You know, or which this could happen, or the Lord just put you to death. The Lord kills you. You left the truth, and the Lord, Lord offs you. That's also happened. Certain men, certain women who left men that was in the truth, the Lord get at them. All right. So once there isn't no leaving off this. There isn't no trying to cling on to your life once you once you entered into this work, once you gave the Lord your word that you was gonna do His work forever. There isn't no turning back. All right. Let's continue on with the scripture. Verse 27. And whosoever doth not bear his cross and come after me cannot be my disciple. Right. So when you bear your cross, you're basically bearing the personal hell and demons that you have to fight. All right. When you bear your cross, matter of fact, let's see. Let's copy this. Let's go to chat and ask chat, what does this mean? Let's see what chat says. So this verse is one of the clearest statements from Yahushua Mashiach about the cost of following him. You see? So once you start following Yahweh Shah, once you start following the Lord, there's certain hell and demonic spirits that you're gonna have to fight daily. All right. And it's not an easy walk. It's not a cakewalk. It's not a hop, skip, and a jump. It's gruesome. It's hard because now you have to fight. What the spirit against the flesh and the flesh against the spirit on a daily basis. Sometimes you have to fight to get in the spirit. Sometimes you got to fight to do a video. You see, it says, and it's meant to be taken serious. It's meant to be taken seriously, not casually. All right. Bared his cross is in the time it says in that time the cross wasn't just a symbol, it was an instrument of crucifixion. That's not crucifixion, that's execution. Slakia. It says, so when Yahweh says this, he's not talking about a small inconvenience. He's saying, be willing to deny yourself. Be ready to suffer, sacrifice, or be misunderstood. Put obedience to Yahweh above comfort, reputation, or even safety. You see, when we out there on the highways and byways, we're literally putting our safety in jeopardy. We're on the street corners, basically condemning Esau Edom to his face. Not figuratively, but basically we're out there in those elements. Esau can literally swoop down in a SWAT van and gather us up if he wanted to. All right. So we're putting our safety. We're not cooped up in a building. We're not cooped up in a high facility somewhere. We're not ducked off in the corner where nobody can see us. No, we're out in the highways and in the byways in a broad spectrum. Sometimes mostly downtown in the city where everybody can see us. Or also, guess what? We're prone for assassination. You seen what happened to Charlie Kirk? And what happened to him? Listen, a sniper can get on one of these buildings downtown, aim at us, and take us out. You see? That's what we're gearing ourselves. That's what we're putting ourselves in those situations. All right. We're downtown where everybody can see us. Guess what? Somebody can just do a drive by, swoop down, hit every single one of us up. And this didn't happen to certain brothers before. All right. But do you think we care? Do you think that's going to stop and hinder us? Do you think that's going to sway us into not doing the work? We fully understand that our lives are in jeopardy. We fully understand that could happen. That anybody could just pull out a gun, tote us down, and then drive off. We understand that that's a possibility. But at the same breath, we don't care. We can care less. The scripture says, who love not their lives unto death. We understand that some of us is going to die for this truth. And then ultimately really doing us a favor. Now we ain't got to be in this vile, disgusting place no more. Now we're with the Father. Now we can just wait for the kingdom of heaven. You know? Let's continue on what chat says. It says, come after me. It says this meant to follow his way of life, his teachings, his character, his priorities. Love others, even enemies, which we know what that's talking about. I'm not going to get into it. We know that's talking about. It says, live truthfully and humbly, obey Yahweh, even when it's difficult. All right. cannot be my disciple. A disciple is committed follower, not just someone who agrees and believes casually. Yahushua is saying if someone isn't willing to put him first, even when it costs them, see, and that's the thing. See, the truth is gonna cost you certain things. It's gonna cost you relationships with your family. It's gonna cost you relationship. It's gonna come with a price. All right, you're gonna lose when you get into this truth. You're gonna lose certain things. All right, you might lose friends. Matter of fact, I'm not even gonna say might. It's a guarantee that you're gonna lose friends. It's a guarantee that you're gonna lose family members that you might be cool with. You're gonna be ostracized from them. Even might even be the woman that lays in the bed next to you. She might even start looking at you a certain way. Brothers then lost women for this truth. They live a certain way, and women didn't want to get with the program. So what she do? She separated herself from your presence. Your children, if your children is a certain age, you know, they don't want to hang around you. I don't want to do nah, daddy into that coke. I don't want to be around daddy. You see, these are all things that we must suffer, and that's why the scripture above it says, "Listen, if you're not willing to lose all of those things, then guess what? You can't follow me. You're not worthy." So now you just have to sit here before you really decide, am I really going to do this thing for the Lord? If I'm going to be for the Lord, then you have to consider all of this. I might lose this. I might lose that. All right. I might lose my family. I might lose my woman. Shit, I might lose, my job that I like. I'm gonna be a loser. I'm gonna lose everything. But guess what? You're losing it for the Lord. So is it worth it? And this is what you have to ask yourself: is it worth it? Is the Lord worth losing all this stuff? Some men is gonna say, of course it is. It definitely is. And then you're gonna have other men saying, nah, I can't do that. And they're gonna continue on with their life or what they think their life is. And then you have some men saying, yeah, it's worth it. And then they get into the situation, realize, man, I didn't think it was gonna be like this. And guess what? They turn back. They try to go back to their life that they had once had. And we understand what the scripture says about that. It says, what he that wandereth out of the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead. So we understand what your judgment is on that. All right. Now I'm gonna tell you something else. It's certain times where you might have a brother come into the truth, and it ain't for me. He go back into the world, and then he like, man, this world ain't for me neither. And he might come back. You see, we've had certain situations where that happened. A brother he'll be in the truth for maybe a year or two or whatever, however, level long. Then he might fall out, might have a hard time, might have demons fucking with him too much. He gone, he separates himself from the brothers for a little bit, but then what? Then he come back, and now he's even on more fire. Now he's even more energized through the spirit. We have certain brothers that have happened before, even in the camp of Indiana, we got certain brothers who came into the truth at a certain point, didn't really, wasn't really meshing with it, left for a certain period of times. But when they came back, the spirit was on them even more. And you can see it. They were like totally two different people, And I'm pretty sure them brothers has certain demons that they fight, talking about, yeah, you ain't a man of the Lord. You forsook the Lord, or whatever, you know. But them brothers are still fighting. Hey, listen, bro, we all fight demons. All right. Um, let's see. It says, "Can I be my disciple?" It says, if someone isn't willing to put him first, even when it's cost them, they aren't truly following him. All right. That's all I'm gonna say on chat. So yeah, you have to put the Lord's first, his work. What did Yahushua say when he was on the scene? He says, well, I am about my father's business. All right. He didn't want to hear nothing else. He didn't have no other plans. He knew he had to come and do a job. Everything else was a side quest. You see, we got to stick on the main quest. The main quest is at hand. The main objective. All right. Verse 28. It says, for which of you intending to build a tower sitteth not down, sitteth not down first, and counting the cost, whether he has sufficient to finish it. Yeah, see now, this is allegorical talking. Now the Lord saying now he said, now which one of you, when you sit down and thinking that, all right, I want to build something, I want to build me a house, I want to build, I want to start doing something. Are you just gonna start doing it without actually seeing, do you have the materials? Do you have the time? Do you have the energy? Do you know what you're doing? Do you know where is this work going? Do you know how to begin it? Do you know how to finish it? Or are you just gonna start it presumptuously? I'm gonna just start it and just, I figure it out when I get there. And then what? You in the middle of building, and now you become discouraged. Like, man, this ain't what I thought it was gonna be, man. This shit harder than I thought. I don't want to do this no more. That was a meme a few years back. I don't want to do this no more. You know, a guy start doing something, now he start complaining. Now he just want to sit there and just pout, talking about this is hard. This is hard. You see? It says what? Verse 29, it says, least happily after he hath laid the foundation and is not able to finish it, all that behold it begins to mock him. Yes, because that's when you see somebody not finish something that they so committed to, that's funny. That's funny. Here you was all talk. Yeah, I can do this, I can do that. It don't look so hard. I can do this. And then you get out there and do it, and it hits you harder than what you thought. Like, man, shit, this shit hard. Now you become a laughing stock. Now you're a joke. Because here he is, you started something that you couldn't finish. All right. It was this cartoon back when I was younger called I forgot exactly what cartoon was it, but it was a villain. He was called the non-finisher. I think it was Jimmy Neutron. It probably was. I don't know. I can't. It's been a minute. It's been like almost like 20 years ago. But anyways, he was called the non-finisher, and he was a joke character. He was like a joke villain. Nobody really took him serious because he never finished nothing. And he showed his lab had a whole bunch of like experiments half finished. He couldn't even finish his own food. He had a bagel on his because he's like a mad scientist or whatever. He had a bagel on his desk that was half finished. He was called the non-finisher because he couldn't finish anything, and he was like a joke villain. He was like a real easy villain to, to conquer or whatever. And nobody really took him serious. He couldn't even barely finish his sentences. You see? So yeah, man, you come into this truth, and here it is. You had up. Matter of fact, it's one of my favorite scriptures. Actually, I like it. In Galatians chapter 5, verse 7, it says, you did run well. Who did hinder you that you should not obey the truth? You see, here you is. You got certain guys who start off pretty good. Hey, they doing their videos, they come to camp, they come to Bible study, they a brother, and you be like, and then look up 1 minute, yeah, man, that guy ain't with us no more. Like, what happened? You did run well. What was it? What was it that hindered you? What was it that stopped you from obeying the truth? You see? Oh, that brother loved his family too much. Oh, that brother was all into his woman. Oh, that brother just couldn't hack it. Oh, the brother was catching too much hell, and he just gave up. I had one guy. I seen one guy who was a part of the Gary camp, the original Gary camp, and he just turned in his garment. Told me, said he couldn't do it no more. Just he gave his garment to the elder and was like, hey, I'm done. I can't do it no more. You know, y'all keep the garment. I'm out of here. You know, and I was like, oh shit, like, he did that in front of the whole entire camp. He turned in his garment and he left, just for him to do another video, I think a couple years later or whatever. But that's neither here nor there. I just like bringing that up. Like, it was like shocking. I was like, whoa, what the fuck? Like, what happened? Like, bro, like, you just giving up on the Lord? You see? But in the last days, it was told us that was gonna happen. Men betraying us. They're gonna turn their back on the faith. You see? It says, saying this man began to build and was not able to finish. You see? So yeah, I guess yeah. A lot of you guys who came into the truth and wasn't able to see it through to the end, you're gonna get mocked and you're gonna get scorned and you're gonna get laughed at, which we do now. We bring up you guys, just like the apostles bring up certain guys back in the days, you know, which they bring up all them guys that left out in the year 2000. None of them left over, and the only ones that stayed, they give their props to. But what they say, all you guys fell out. Everybody went back into the world. You see, now we got stories like that. We got stories that you know the guys who came in did it for a little bit and left out. Now you don't know where these guys at, or if you do know where they at, they probably 10 times worse. Matter of fact, what we just ran into a guy about maybe about 3, 4, 5 months ago. On social media. He was part of this. He was part of the Gary camp. Matter of fact, he was the so-called second in command. You know, and now he's completely like, oh, that's not the way the scriptures are supposed to be written. Jesus said this, and the way y'all taught it was wrong, and that like whatever, man. You don't even know what the hell you talking about. You see, and when the shit hit the fan, he probably gonna be the number. He probably gonna be the same person who gonna be trying to hit up brothers and try to get back into the camp or try to redeem himself. All right. So that's pretty much all I had on. I was just really willing to um, touch bases on this scripture because I was thinking about it earlier today, and I'm like, man, really, once you really think about it, and once you like really like digest and just like ponder, like you really have to give up everything when it comes to this. You really have to give up everything when it comes to this truth. All right. You gotta forsake all. All right. You don't have enough, you don't have the time and effort to put everything first. Something has to come first. It's either gonna be your life, your family, your children, or it's gonna be the work of the Lord. It's gonna be what the Lord told you to do. And it's within you to choose what's gonna become first, what you're gonna do first, what has priority in your life. All right. And this is a fight that we have to constantly be in from since day one. We always have to choose the Lord, always putting the Lord first. Daddy, can you come? Can you come to my baseball game? But baseball game is on camp. You gonna skip camp? You gonna leave camp to attend your son's baseball game? Well, in that situation, I mean, you can. Me personally, I wouldn't like if I had something that was really important because I'm not finna cancel camp or I'm not finna reschedule camp if I want to do some folly. But if I had some, let's say I had to work on a certain day, if I had to work on camp day, then I will go camp on another day. You know, and you got certain brothers. It's to your spirit. I'm not really feeling like all right. Well, if you want to go do something with your family, y'all plan something on the day you originally have camp. If you want to go camp probably a day before or a day after, you know, as long as you get it in, as long as you give the Lord his time, But I'm me personally, I try not to do that. I don't want to cancel camp just to go do something that I probably something that it's not that real big important to me. Now if it's for work, if I got to do a job and the job is on that day, then I'll probably just camp a little earlier because us in Indiana, we have two camps. We have one on Wednesday and we have one on Friday. So, and usually that's what it's set up for. The brothers who can't attend Friday camp, they usually go to the Wednesday camp. So you are what is you are camping that week. So that's basically it. And that's all I had, through the spirit. Lord, I hope this video was edifying for you brothers out there, man. Hey, choose the Lord always,